As Richard and Charlie headed home, they ran into some old friends, Charles McLeod, Howard Graham, and Elsie Patrick. They told them about their discovery, and presumably showed them the items they had taken from the alcove. Another of Richard's brothers, 22-year-old John, joined McLeod, Graham, and Patrick to make their own claims. Charlie remembered. They only had provisions for 3 or 4 days, but before this was gone, they had found as much stuff as they could carry. A few more visits to the alcove later, McLeod took a collection of artifacts called the Ancient Aztec Relics to the Colorado Historical Society and left with $3,000. As America became aware of its antiquities and people like Virginia Donaghy began to press for their protection, the past became profit. In 1888, there was nothing to stop the commercialization of the past. Archaeology was not a discipline. There were no university archaeology departments. At most, there were societies where those educated in other sciences coalesced to share their interests in the past and sponsored explorations of ruins. They had no authority, and neither did anyone else. There were no laws safeguarding archaeological sites or agencies monitoring ruins. The past was consigned to the personalities who found it, some inclined to protection, some to profit, some indifferent. In this void, the tangible remnants of the past became vulnerable. There was only one word for the fortress Richard and Charlie stood in that December day: palatial. And so, Richard named it Cliff Palace. Al later explained how momentous such a discovery felt. To know that you are the first to set foot in homes that had been deserted for centuries is a strange feeling. It is as though unseen eyes watched, wondering what aliens were invading their sanctuaries and why. To complete the absolute isolation of the dwelling, there was a buzzard's nest on the small ledge in the cliff back of the buildings. According to ancient mythology, anyone finding a buzzard's nest is in luck forever after. But, to our deep disappointment, they quit the nest and were not seen again. Much would never be the same after that day. Richard fell under Mesa Verde's spell, just like Virginia. They would both remain enchanted and struggle to maintain control of the past. They would both accomplish much and sacrifice more. The coming years would bring arrests, vilification by professionals, investigations by federal authorities, damaged reputations, and untold losses. A federal injunction and an act of Congress would come and go. And yet, they would carry on until they could no longer. For one of them, it would take a bullet to the chest and then another to the face to break the spell of antiquity. Or perhaps it was a curse.